ends his final game with a walk-off single. Derek Jeter, where fantasy becomes reality.
Bases loaded. 2 out. Hard hit into right. Back at the wall. Tie game! Big Papi. The grand slam. After Scott Rowland. And Scott Rowland hits one into deep left field. Back at the wall. A leap. And a catch! Andy Chavez takes a home run away and turns it into a double play. Unbelievable.
All right, welcome to the Ball Club, episode 2. I'm your host, Joey, here with Austin. Harrison's out this week. Got a lot to cover in the AL and the NL. Austin, what's up, dude?
Yeah, what's up, bro? How are you?
Good.
All right, so hey guys, so we're gonna get into it. We're gonna be talking about the AL, the NL. We might give a little bit of a rookie of the year type talk, and that'll be it. So I'm gonna start off with the AL. Joey's gonna get into the NL, and then we'll get into the rookie talks. So we watched a few games this week. We had a few really critical series going into the playoff run. We're gonna highlight a few. The first one I'm gonna talk about is actually a bit of a feel-good story, and I would say it's probably the feel-good story of the baseball season this whole year. Baltimore Orioles played the Guardians this week. Orioles took 2 of 3. It's just ridiculous. I personally can't even believe that they're in there. What do you think about that, Joey?
They're very much in like the wild card race. You know what I mean? Like they can be there. Like I don't think they're going to be anything huge in the playoffs, but
Right.
definitely setting themselves up for next year too.
Which you wouldn't have even expected whatsoever, because this is a team that you don't have any major stars on the team. If you look at their pitching staff, it's a bunch of no-name guys that you would probably see in a AAA, and you still wouldn't even think about.
Pitching well though.
But they're pitching well. They're pitching ridiculously well. And the offense to me is kind of the big point. I think the minute that they called up Adley Rutschman, it kind of turned the tide a little bit. It's a guy that I remember I watched at Oregon State in the College World Series. You could just tell he's a stud switch hitting catcher. And to me, I don't know, this might be a comp that might be a little bit biased as a Red Sox fan, but he reminds me a lot leadership-wise of like a Jason Varitek. But I think his skill ceiling is more so like a Jorge Posada type.
Yeah, he's really good, and they're only 2.5 back from the Blue Jays right now, so
it looks like they're not too far out of it. So yeah, they've got a shot. I don't know if you saw Gunnar Henderson got the call up as well.
I did. I got that in my notes for later. If you want to say
an absolute nuke in his one of his first at bats, and then makes a diving play in the hole the next game. Just the kid's unreal talented. Looks like the Orioles are going to probably be a force here for the next few years.
Yeah, they got a great farm. So
and the crazy thing is they've got the top pitching prospect in Grayson. So we'll see what happens with them.
Yeah,
sure. Not too eventful of a series. Orioles do take 2 out of 3 in that one, and the Guardians losing tightens up the NL Central just a little bit, and we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Next series I want to talk about Yankees versus Rays. I'm sure you're not too happy about this one, Joey. What are your thoughts on this series?
Man, I can go on all day, dude. Benintendi's hurt now with like a hamate, whatever wrist bone thing. He's probably going to miss the rest of the season. Like they're just not scoring. They're changing the lineup every day, which I can't stand it. Like, just give me a consistent lineup. I mean, without Judge, like this team is not winning at all. I mean, he's literally carrying the offense right now. I think he's up to number 53 now. He has 53 today.
Right. So yeah, and I was actually going to get into that. The Rays, let's go into game 1. Rays take game 1 9-0. What were your thoughts watching that game?
I just wasted all day watching that game for sure. Like they're just not hitting. Like the defense is there. I mean, minus IKF, which it's like a huge thing on Twitter right now, but like he should not be the shortstop. I mean, Josh Donaldson's not hitting. Like just no one besides Judge is actually hitting the ball.
Right.
Stanton needs to get going. Rizzo needs to get back. LeMahieu's dealing with like a foot thing. So if he can get past that, I mean, I know that it's not something that's going to heal. They were talking about today, but if they can get past that, like maybe they could start hitting. But we need like that consistency of LeMahieu, Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, like hitting. They have to start hitting.
Right. And the thing about it that just doesn't make sense is they've got young guys in the pipeline that they can call up to get a spark. It just feels like, to me, they feel like the Lakers of the NBA. They've just got a bunch of old guys that are lifeless. They've got an all-star and like a LeBron James. They've got Aaron Judge, right? But then they've got these other old guys like Stanton. They've got DJ. They've got all, IKF, Donaldson. It just feels like they're bringing in like an older, more mature team. But I feel like in baseball right now, the youth is winning.
Yeah, I agree.
Yankees are the first team to get to 70 wins, and everyone's thinking to themselves, are these guys going to win 110 games? How many games are these guys going to win? They're not even at 80 wins. I think they just got to 80 wins today.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been rough, man. It's been
So
rough. I mean, they did call up Cabrera and Peraza. Like Cabrera's been like not really hitting.
yeah,
He hit his first couple games, playing good defense all over the place. But Peraza hasn't gotten a hit yet. Not worried about him.
Right.
I just wish they would play him at shortstop like they did for one game. But then
Right.
today they play him at second base, and IKF like boots a ball and then throws the ball away. Luckily DJ saves it,
Right.
but I don't know. I just think they need to move on from IKF, and I think Donaldson. I think that whole trade, that Minnesota trade with IKF and Donaldson, was just terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I get wanting to get rid of Gary Sanchez. I wanted to get rid of him too,
Right.
but Donaldson and IKF have just been terrible. And then
Right.
Rortvedt like just started down in AAA, so he's not even really a factor yet.
And then you lose Urshela as well, which I'm not saying Urshela is an all-star by any means, but
No, but he's doing better than
he's
both
a
of
solid hitter. He's doing better than both of them. I would say he's an above average third baseman.
them. I agree.
I mean,
Yeah, I think that was a huge like loss in that trade.
I think it's a big loss. I feel like he was a good locker room guy. I feel like he was, as a Red Sox fan, he seemed like a Red Sox killer. Guy's hitting
Right.
250 every year, but then when he plays the Red Sox, he seems to be hitting 510. So
Love that. Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know. That trade happened, and you're thinking like, okay, like you got Donaldson for Urshela. It's remotely similar player.
right.
But it just hasn't been that this year. So, but I mean, I guess the only positives I really took from this series was for the Yankees at least was Jonathan Loáisiga looks really good.
Yeah.
Clay Holmes still kind of not really trusting him yet. So I don't know if maybe they work Loáisiga into a closer role with the little time they have left, but he's at least looking good and the pitching's looking good.
Yep. So in that first game, Manny Margot goes 3 for 5. He's back. He's healthy. The Rays are getting healthy at the right time.
Yeah.
We get into game 2. It's a 2-1 game. Rays take that game as well. Yankees still are hitting. The only run that they score, once again, Aaron Judge home run.
He's backpacking.
He's just backpacking the team. And yeah, last thing I have here is just, man, as you already touched on, the Yankees right now are just absolutely nothing without Aaron Judge. If he's not your MVP right now, and I get the whole Shohei talk, and we'll get into MVP talk maybe
we'll get to that next week. Yeah.
But man, there's just not a guy right now that has a team absolutely in his backpack like Aaron Judge. I don't think the Yankees are I don't even think the Yankees are within 10 games of a playoff spot right now if it's not for Aaron Judge. And I know that's probably
I mean, yeah, he's the sole reason that they're even scoring at all. I mean, it's been a rough few weeks.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep. Game 3 today. Yankees go ahead and take that one on a shoddy, very, very, very iffy strike 3 call at the end of the game on a Clay Holmes.
I'll take it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I still can't trust Clay Holmes as a closer. Like, Loáisiga's looking better. So I think they should probably give him some run if he keeps this up. But I don't know. Holmes needs to figure it out because he's been abysmal these last few saves. And then he was on the IL. So he just hasn't been good.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the NL Central. There's a few good games. The big series here is the White Sox Twins. But what's absolutely shocking to me, and to be honest, I can't even believe it because the White Sox they seemed like they were a dead fish.
Mm-hmm.
They're all within 3 games of each other in the standings right now. White Sox and Twins play head to head. White Sox starting to get healthy again. They got Jimenez back, hitting absolute bombs, and they take 2 out of 3 from the Twins.
Winning without La Russa too. So I don't know if that's, hopefully he gets better, obviously, but
yes.
Is that a thing? Like, this is coaching them?
I mean, I don't know. We hope he gets better, but I mean, this might be a questionable. This guy's a dinosaur in the dugout, right?
Yeah.
He's got a bunch of young guys. Yeah. Yes. And the way that he treated his players last year, calling guys out, sending guys down to AAA that were playing well, it's absolutely killing the morale of the team. I mean, you got a young, mostly international, want to be flashy team, right? You got guys that want to have fun, young guys. Right. You got guys like Tim Anderson. You got guys like Eloy. You got guys like Luis Robert or Robert, however you pronounce it. I honestly don't care. A bunch of young, possible all-star guys, possibly MVP type players on their team, but you got a dinosaur of a coach. To me, I don't think La Russa works. I don't know what you think. I don't think they bring him back next year. I mean, if they do, that's bad decision making. But I mean, just some of the calls he makes, like especially when he's walking guys who are 0-2 in the count or have 2 strikes in the count. Like, what are we doing here? Like, if you're gonna walk them. Don't let them get 2 strikes in. He was an excellent coach in St. Louis. I think
he's just past his time.
I just think he's past his time, and I think he'll be a Hall of Famer. But I don't think it works for the White Sox. They're completely different organizations. The Cardinals were more of a buttoned up, as professional as it gets organization. I'm not saying the White Sox aren't that, but they're more the players that they have right now are more of like a let the kids play type team.
Right.
And I think you need a young coach that's gonna emphasize that. This team
pitching's been amazing though.
It's been amazing. They've got. I mean, we can get into that. Game 2, Dylan Cease takes a no-hitter into the 9th inning, 2 outs. Yeah. He looks incredible. Obviously, he gets broken up. We know that. I need Twitter to stop posting every single time somebody's got a no hitter. So I
The eye
swear to you,
emoji.
you're jinxing it.
Yep.
If I'm watching it on Fox and the Fox announcers every inning say he's got a no hitter through 7, he's got a no hitter through 8, you're just asking to bring.
Yeah,
the
you're
no-hitter.
asking for it.
It's a tale as long as baseball history has ever been. You're jinxing the no hitter. You keep your mouth shut.
We're going to get into this a little more next week with Cy Young, but like he has like a very possible chance of winning the Cy Young, and he was snubbed. He didn't even make the All-Star team.
He didn't even make
crazy.
the All-Star team.
Yeah,
The
which
guy
is nuts to me. The guy's
been unbelievable. He's almost as unhittable as it gets in the league right now. McClanahan is amazing, and I get that, but he's hurt.
Right.
Verlander's been amazing. He's also hurt.
Right.
Opening the door for Cease to take and honestly, right now, as of this week, he's my favorite. We might change our mind by next week when we get into Cy Young talk, but right now, to me, I want Dylan Cease on my team.
Yeah, I actually saw him pitch live against the Orioles earlier this year. I was at Comiskey. My father-in-law took us. Shout out Ed. Yeah. But yeah, great park. Like, and he's fun to watch, man. He's a good watch if you're out there. If you're ever in Chicago, go to Comiskey, watch Dylan Cease pitch for sure.
Who do you think's legit in this division? To me, I don't think anyone is.
I don't know. It's weird. I like the Guardians' offense a little bit, but I like it's really the division is just up for grabs right now. I mean, if you just looked at the roster, you would say the Twins, right? Like just off the names, but yeah, it's like still very much up for grabs. And like I don't really want to say like who's going to win it because it's just so close and they're all like I don't want to say streaky, but they're just kind of on and off lately.
Yeah, I don't think any of these teams have a complete roster that can take you in deep into October. To me, I
agree.
I don't see any of these teams if they make it winning more than one game in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't see them getting past the first round, but I guess it really would depend on their schedule of which of the three are going to make it. Like who's got the easiest schedule would be my win for that. Yeah,
I agree. Okay, last series we're gonna get to. It's actually it's a interleague series. Blue Jays played the Pirates.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Blue Jays sweep the Pirates, but that's not really the point because the Pirates are basically a glorified AA team.
Right.
Okay. They can't hit. They don't have a guy on their roster hitting over 260 besides Ke'Bryan Hayes, and even he's been terrible this year.
Yeah,
he's been terrible.
Yeah.
The Pirates are a joke. Their entire payroll is probably 1/50th of the Dodgers. They're a complete mess. Sell the team. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame because they have like some young, like good players and they have like a decent farm, but like I mean O'Neal Cruz is like hitting like unbelievable jacks
but he's I might be in a complete minority on this. The guy he looks like he doesn't care about the game. He's hitting maybe 200.
And his average is definitely down.
He's got a rocket of an arm, but he's a subpar defender. He hits absolute bombs, but he's a subpar hitter. I like the guy. I think his talent is there, but I need to see it before I declare this guy one of the Carlos Correas, one of the
I mean
Bogarts, Bichettes. He's not that yet.
And I'm wondering if he can maintain being a shortstop because he's so tall.
Right.
But I don't know if you noticed, dude, he throws like 100 miles an hour.
He does. I personally profile him more as a third baseman.
Yeah, I mean, he could eventually move to the outfield just based on his size. I don't really know. But like he's definitely fun to watch. But I think with experience and time, he'll be better. Like he's definitely got the power.
Yeah,
he just needs more time.
His bat reminds me of Polanco, the old outfield that they used to have. I think it's Gregory Polanco.
Yeah.
He reminds me of that. Like he has that absolute incredible power. He might have a few big years, but I see too many inconsistencies, and maybe it's because he's a rookie and he's working through it. But I don't know. Some of the times he just doesn't really look like he's even trying to me, and that seems like an issue.
I mean, my opinion on the Pirates is like they have a few good players. Like O'Neal Cruz has potential. Like Ke'Bryan Hayes has potential. Like we know Brian Reynolds is a good player.
Right.
Chavis has been like decent this year at first. They always have good catching, but they like it's just every year it's like okay, like Pirates are going to come in last, and they're going to trade at the deadline, and it's like okay, are you ever going to see this organization like use their talent because they have talent and like just like really make some moves and spend a little bit of money? I don't know because they're central. I mean, their division is like very winnable. Like
they've just refused to go all the way in. I think that's the issue. When they had the talent in the 2013, 2014-ish time, when they had, they have Ketel Marte, or not Ketel Marte, my apologies. They have Starling Marte. Right. They've got McCutchen. They had Garrett Cole, Jameson Taillon, all these guys in their pitching staff.
Yeah.
They refused to go all the way in. And obviously they play in a tough division. They played the Cardinals in that era. And I get the Cardinals are just like they're the boogeyman in that division. They have been for the last 20 years.
Right. But the rest of the division is really like the Cubs are like in a weird spot. Like
they're terrible.
They're semi-rebuilding. They're not good this year. Like the Brewers completely fell off the map.
Yeah.
I mean, the Cardinals are pretty good, but they're not having like the greatest season. Like I'll talk about them a little later, but like that division is just very much like winnable if they just did some stuff.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Blue Jays too. Yeah. So the Blue Jays do sweep. We're going to stay on the train of being disappointing. I get that the Blue Jays they have a decent record. They're in line for the playoffs right now. They're not a terrible team by any means. But can we not say that this team was crowned, the next team before they earned it? I mean, we're talking about the Blue Jays like they're going to win 110 games before the season starts. And I get they're talented. They are. But we're talking about Vladdy being the guy, and he is. He's still hitting 280, still got 30 bombs. But we can't expect this guy to hit 50 bombs every single year, bat 320. It's just not realistic, especially in today's game with the arms that are in the bullpens. And
offense is particularly down too. So
I don't see Judge doing what he's doing next year, just like I don't see Vladdy doing what he did last year every single year. It's a tough ask. It's tough to do that. So it's not put too much pressure on these young kids. I think they're going to be the future. Alejandro Kirk's amazing. I think Bichette's a good player. Biggio's a good player. They got, they're a good team. Teoscar Hernandez, they're a good team.
I just think they need more experience. Like George Springer is really good. Like he brings that to the team, but they were predicted to win like the AL this year, and they're just not there.
They're just not there.
So I think they're just underperforming a little bit, but they got good pitchers. Like they have Gossman, Manoah.
Right.
Barrios has been better in the second half, had a rough first half. They have a bullpen, like they have a wipeout closer in Romano. Right. So like the pieces are there. I think they're underperforming a little bit this year. I think their defense is a little untrustworthy. I definitely like moving Vladdy to first because I don't see him as a long-time third baseman. So I think he'll get more experience there.
Yeah. I just don't see, I think that, I don't know. If they get into the playoffs, you don't want them. That's the thing.
No, you definitely want to face that offense.
That lineup can put up 20 runs on you.
That's a good offense for sure. I just, I don't know. Like they may want to consider moving Bichette in the future. I don't like the second.
I think that too. Because right now he's defensively, I think I saw he's the second worst defensive player in the whole league as far as runs. He's like negative in runs saved. He's about like negative 16 runs saved right now. So
and you can't have that in your shortstop. Yeah. He's a great player. They may want to consider him.
Yeah, and maybe I'm salty, but this guy got voted to the All-Star team over Bogarts. So I don't know if that should happen. Yeah. Everyone talks about Bogarts having brick hands, but I don't hear any Bichette talk. So maybe we'll bring that to this podcast. So I'm not a hater, but I'm just a Bogarts advocate. So
for sure. Anyway. We'll see where he ends up next season. Just to close out the AL. I mean, the Yankees are still in the lead, but I don't know, man. It's very the Rays can easily come back and take it. They play the Rays again, so it's still kind of up for grabs. The Central is still very up for grabs. Like I can't believe the Yankees let this happen to them though. Like they just let that huge lead just wonder away.
I can't believe it either. I think they're still in the playoffs, but as of right now, for me, it's hard not to say that the Astros are the unanimous favorites in the AL.
As much as I'm not a fan of the Astros, but they're definitely the favorite in my opinion. Like I don't see anybody beating them in the playoffs. Like I think they may get beat again in the World Series if they go, but I think they're going to win the AL.
Yeah, I think overall the AL has not been as strong as the NL, and we'll get into the NL here.
Right. And then real quick though, just back to the AL real fast. Like I really like Seattle. Like I know they had a not so great first half, but like they're starting to play again. I mean, the division is totally out of grabs, but they're in the wild card race.
It's America's team.
I think their bullpen is number one in the league right now. And then they got Robbie Ray and Castillo and Gilbert and Kirby. Like they just have good pitching. Like they're starting to hit really well. They have a good team too.
Yeah, you got to think they got a good mixture of veteran bats mixed in with that new youth with Julio. I mean, Julio's energized that whole city.
Yeah, he's great. I think that their team is better than what their record's portraying right now. And they're another team. Like I wouldn't want to see them in the playoffs either, just straight on their pitching.
No, you wouldn't want them in the playoffs for sure.
No, for sure.
Especially the Yankees don't want them after the last series. So
I can't. Can't get into it.
Right.
But we can get into the NL if you're ready.
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Kind of a lot of Mets talk. Mets go against the Dodgers. They take 2 out of 3. Marte's been great for them. DeGrom, he's definitely back. Goes 7 innings, 1 earned run in the second game. It was a home run to Mookie, but he gets 9 Ks.
Best ever.
For sure. Kershaw came back too. He struggled a bit, and I think it was the first or second inning, but he came back, settled down, threw 5 scoreless after that. Mets took 2 out of 3, and then they moved on to the Nats. So this was like a series. Like, okay, the Nationals obviously aren't a good team, but the Mets are just in this position where they like have to win these kind of games with the Braves being so close. So they win game 1, they go game 2 against Patrick Corbin, who's been struggling all year. He ends up going 7 innings, 1 earned run. And you got to hope like with the contract that Corbin's on that he kind of turns it around. It's kind of too late this year. I mean, hopefully he finishes out strong, but we'd like to see him back better next year.
Right. And it's hard to say if it was an overpay or not because they got a World Series out of him and he pitched great in that game 7. But
he did.
The thing is, I mean, how could you have expected him to fall off so hard? He was arguably a top 2 or 3 pitcher in the league. And then
Right. Now he's
out of
this,
nowhere.
you know.
Now he's this. He's hardly even a bottom line guy in your
Right,
team,
right.
So
Scherzer went 5 innings, 1 earned run, leaves the game with like a left side fatigue. He kind of pulled himself out, said he wasn't having it. Like in the post game presser, though, he did say he'd be back for his next start, but that's something he dealt with last year with the Dodgers in the playoffs, where he said he was fatigued.
yeah,
So like that's got to worry you a little bit if you're a Met. I mean, they still like in the playoffs. Do you really want to face DeGrom, Scherzer, Bassett? No, not really.
I don't think you do.
Yeah, no, definitely not. So hopefully, like he kind of maybe they just kind of limit his innings for the rest of the season and then stretch him back out for the playoffs. I don't know, but Buck Showalter quote of the day for sure. Like goes in the presser and they're like, yeah, like they said it's left side fatigue, and Buck goes, okay, well I guess it's left side fatigue then. So we'll see what happens with that. But they both say that he's on track to make his next start. So Nats end up taking 2 out of 3, which again, looking into this in a minute, hurts the Mets terribly because the Braves are just right on their tail.
Right.
As far as like the Mets in general, like I really think they have a shot this year. I just don't love like their bullpen right now. Like I feel like they should have made another bullpen move. Like they have Ottavino, who's been good. Lugo's been good. Diaz has been the best closer in the game. They picked up Given at the deadline, and I think Tommy Hunter has started to get good for him. But I still feel like they needed one more guy that can come in and just really help their bullpen out for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you got to think that it's hard. Ottavino's been pretty great this year. I don't think he's as good as his stats have shown.
Yeah, he's been better as of late.
He's been better as of late for sure. Edwin Diaz is obviously electric. You get him into the game, and it's just
it's pretty much game over.
It's basically game over right now. He's absolutely rejuvenated his career. The Mets were absolutely wanting to burn him at the stake the last 2 years, and now he's the greatest thing ever. He's the greatest thing since sliced bread. So
right, I think
you got
he's
a guy that's coming
too, which is huge.
Right, and if you got to think of it like a game 2, like for them, all they've got to do is get 6-7 innings out of their starters, right? Hopefully they can bridge the gap with Ottavino for 1, right? And then in the playoffs, you can bring in Edwin Edwin's been doing 2 innings.
Right. So if he can keep that up.
If he can keep that up in the playoffs, obviously that's ideal. I think DeGrom's the type of guy that's in the playoffs. Hopefully they can stretch him out to where he can give you 7-8.
Yeah, he's been thrown 7 innings. Like his pitch count's definitely been up. You just have to hope he can maintain that. Bassett's been throwing a lot. I think he threw like over 100 pitches the other day. Scherzer's kind of the only one I get like a little skeptical of like going far into games, like with this whole fatigue thing, and just because it happened last year, that's why I'm skeptical about it. But if you can get all 3 of them in there,
and for me, it's really not. I mean, I could see the pitching argument here, but for me, I think it's I don't really trust the offense, to be honest.
Right.
I like the guys that they have, but I mean, as you can see, Alonso's 1 for 11 in his last 11 at bats. I think he's having a great year, but as we know with him, he can get real cold.
Yeah, my message to Mets fans though is like Alonso's definitely cold right now, but I'd rather him be cold now than later. He's gonna hit, like that's what he does. He's gonna hit, like he'll get out of it. I don't worry about him at all.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just I just don't trust the offense. I think Frankie Lindor I think he's a great player, but he's not the Cleveland Indians bat that he was. He's streaky. I really like Marte. He's probably my favorite player. I like O'Neill. To me, the offense is centered around O'Neill, Marte, and Alonso.
Yeah, Marte's been. I mean, he's been really good. He had 2 good series, like both against the Dodgers and the Nats. And dude, the guy like just doesn't age. Like he could probably still play center field if you needed him to.
You might be able to argue that he was the best pickup of the whole offseason. I mean, he's been incredible for them.
He's been great, dude. He's been nothing but good for them. But that kind of brings us into the Braves because the Mets lose today. The Braves are currently, as we're talking, up 7-1 in the 8th. So you got to imagine they're going to lock that up, obviously. And that puts the Braves back, I think, just 1 game on the Mets. Both teams have like a pretty easy schedule for sure. So it's going to be a dogfight here in September for them.
Yeah.
Both teams. But to the Braves, they take 2 out of 3 in Colorado. And my guy, Spencer Strider, definitely my guy, goes 8 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 16 Ks, breaks the Braves record.
Yeah, the kid's a psychopath.
Yeah, he's good.
On the mound. He's
good.
He's got that Scherzer dog in him. But his stuff actually reminds me a lot. And I'm not saying it's like that at all, but his stuff reminds me a whole lot of DeGrom.
Got that dog in him.
100-mile-an-hour fastball with that high-velocity slider. I mean, it's tough to touch. And he
throws really hard.
He throws a nice little changeup as well. I mean, I think he's going to be a real good pitcher here. I think he's got potential to be a top guy in the NL for a long time.
And he's obviously a wipeout kind of guy. He's got 16 Ks. I mean, he's been striking guys out all year. He's always had high strikeout numbers. So
yeah, he's a big fantasy guy for you
you
listeners that play fantasy baseball. I don't, but whoever does, he's been a huge guy to pick up.
Yeah, I actually have him on my team, and he got like over 70 points this last week. So
yeah, it's ridiculous.
Probably won me my series, for sure.
Right.
But back to them. So they're going to take 3 out of 3. They're up 2-3 right now. Like I said, they're up 7-1 today, like as we speak. But dude, the Braves just keep calling people up, and like I know their system isn't ranked like the greatest, but like the guys that have been bringing up are good. Like, have you seen Grisham?
I love Grisham.
He's really
what
good.
scares me about, and I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Dansby's in a contract year this year, right?
He is, yes.
What do you do there? I mean, I don't know. Grisham has looked so good, but Dansby's he's your proven guy.
So
he's
right now,
big clubhouse guy. Yeah. I mean, people love Grisham, and my roommate's a big Braves fan. He loves Grisham.
Yeah. Grisham's good. He hit a home run in the series. I don't know if he actually played in the outfield, but he was taking reps in the outfield. So maybe they look to move him, because I believe Albies is like on the way back. I know he's playing minor league games. So yeah, I mean, if you can keep him like playing, I mean, it really doesn't even matter where you put him at this point. Just get him in the game, and you got a guy there. I mean, like I said, he's been taking reps in the outfield, but he's been playing on the second base. Right. So it just really depends. But I think they're gonna try to keep both.
Yeah, I think
something out there.
They're really good in Atlanta, signing their young studs to long-term deals on really
I definitely think they're like the smartest organization. Like, they're just 100%. Signing young guys to extensions early. They're not like, and they're winning because like these young kids want that money early, and now they're locked up for a long time. Right. I mean, look at some of their deals. We talked about it before, like Acuna, like
Acuna's on an absolute steal of a deal.
Yeah, I mean, all of them really are. Like Matt Olson, he's another, like, that's a great deal.
Right.
Like,
Michael Harris, she's got
I was just going to talk about Michael Harris. Like, so he got extended. He's playing great center field. He's been hitting a ton. Like, he's 2 for 4 in game 2 with a single and a double. He hit a home run in game 1. And like, not only that, they just destroyed Alcantara. So gotta like that for them. And then they're going to win today. Austin Riley had 4 homers straight in 4 games. So he's on like a little streak, but he's we'll get to him next week, talking about the MVP race. Like, he's definitely a name to look out for in that.
Kid's about as good as it gets at third base.
Yeah, for sure. He's been good. They've been good. They're just a good team. I like them a lot. Like, if they went, like, they're going to go to the postseason, I think they have a real shot again, for sure.
I think so too.
And like I said, both teams have a fairly like easy schedule. Like, the Braves is like slightly harder. I was looking at it last night, but it's going to come down to the schedule, I think, and if the Mets can get it going again offensively.
Yeah, and the Braves are a pen. I think their bullpen. I think I trust it a little bit more than the Mets. The issue is that closer. I don't know if I trust closer as much for the Braves as I do for the Mets, but I think I trust their overall staff a little bit more than I trust the Mets.
I like their staff too. Plus, they got Iglesias. Like, maybe he can kind of slide in when Jansen isn't the guy. But they also got Matt Sig.
And I don't think Jansen is the guy. So
he's been kind of rough lately.
He's been very hit or miss this year, but as we know, he's a big playoff performer. So
right. So I guess it kind of depends on how you want to go there. But moving on from them, Cardinals play the Cubs. Dude, Montgomery, like, can't believe we let him go. Like, we let him go.
You need good lefty arms you need good lefty arms in your staff to go into the playoffs, and I don't know why the Yankees got rid of him.
Yeah, Montgomery, 6 games for the Cardinals. He's at a 1.47 ERA. He's been great. Definitely a winning trade for them, I'd say, because we traded for Bader, who's like not even playing yet. And he might not even come back this season. He might, but if he does, it's going to be not a lot of time to get ready. So we'll kind of see. But good on the Cardinals. I mean, they seem to upgrade any pitcher that they ever have gotten. So Montgomery is definitely going to be better on the Cardinals, in my opinion. And like, that's on the Yankees. They should have developed him better and used his pitch mix a little differently.
Yeah. And I don't think he was bad for the Yankees, but he
was like really solid. He was our 5 guy, like, and we treated him as a 5 guy, and we never let him go past like 5-6 innings, but the Cardinals got him going into like the 7th, like all the time. And he's just been lights out pretty much, minus like 1 game. So
yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Cardinals they're just a top tier organization. It seems like every guy, we're talking about that with the Braves, but it just seems like the Cardinals, every guy that they call up ends up performing or contributing, or their pitchers are always super solid. They're just a team that they're never going to wow you. They're never going to blow your brain with how talented or amazing they are, but they're always going to be a team that plays hard. They're going to be solid. They're going to make plays in the field.
Yeah, their defense is great.
Per usual.
Goldschmidt homers again. We're going to talk about him. Like, he's definitely my top 3. We'll get into that next week again, but MVP for sure. Like, he's just having himself a year.
Yeah.
Really good first baseman too. Lars Newbar, I just want to talk about him real quick. Like, that guy's playing good defense, and he's getting on base. He's hitting. He's got like an 829 OPS right now. So got to look forward to that. Young. I do really like their team. They took 2 out of 3 on the Cubs. They were supposed to play game 3 today, but that got pushed to tomorrow because of the rain. But the Cardinals are another team. Like, defense is so important in the playoffs, along with pitching, and like, they have both.
Yeah.
They definitely have some bats. So
they've got nothing but flamethrowers in the bullpen.
Yeah, they got a great bullpen.
Everyone throws 100 in that bullpen. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Hicks, Hesley. I mean, they just got a really. I like their team a lot.
I do too.
I'm kind of curious what's going to come with them next year, though, without Yachty. Like, what's their pitching staff going to turn into? I mean, they still have a good pitching staff, but the catcher does make a lot of moves for that. So
I could see Yachty staying involved, but I mean, I don't know. Who knows? His heart is it doesn't seem to fully be committed into this year. I know he left to go support his I believe it's his soccer team. He left and missed a game just to go watch them play. So
wow.
I mean, I don't know if he's 100% committed anymore.
Yeah, I think he was ready to be done, but they got him back for one more. I mean, he's not really hitting well, but his defense has been good. And honestly,
guy.
like, I mean, dude, catchers in general, like, just offense isn't there, so it's like whatever, you can pick that apart if you want. But
right,
like, look at the way that the pitching staff is going with him in there. So
yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. Phillies, I'll go over this real quick. They played the Giants. They got crushed 13-1 in the first game. Second game, close. Jock had a great series. Our guy, local Vegas guy, Bryson Stott, had a big home run, but they're playing again tonight. Yeah, we like Stott. He's a good player. Yeah, he had a great double play too. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, he's incredible in the field. And just a little backstory so you guys get to know me a little bit more. I did play baseball growing up in Vegas a long time. So I played against Bryson a lot. Bryson was an absolute stud. Played against him in club ball. Played a tournament with him. Bryson was just always an absolute stud of a player. Guys like Bly Madris, who just got called up to the Pirates. He actually just got sent right back down. But a few guys that I played with in my life. So yeah, we'll have a little bit of an affinity for a few different players. And
yeah, for sure. Local Vegas guys too. Like, gotta love that. So, but anyway, the Giants take the series 2-3. They're playing again tonight. I like the Phillies. Like, they're in the wild card race. Like, they have really good offense. Pitching's generally good, but their bullpen, I don't trust it. So I don't think they're a real factor if they get to the playoffs this year. I'd like them to be. Like, I'd like to see them get better. But I still think that they're a little bit of a ways out for sure.
I think that their offense is top 5. They could be an amazing offense in the league, but the issue is that they're inconsistent for one, and for two, their pitching just isn't. It's just not it. Past Wheeler and even Nola sometimes is on.
Yeah, Nola's kind of shaky here and there.
But besides that, I mean, I just don't trust their pitching. I think their bullpen's terrible. I think that they're just not. They're going to be a non-factor. They're the third best team in their division. It's not even close.
Yeah, I mean, they may get in the wild card, but I don't see them doing much after that.
I agree.
If they get past that. So anyway, Padres, Dodgers. Dude, the Padres just haven't been that great since the deadline. I mean, Brandon Drury's been like the steal of the deadline for sure.
Yeah, don't count your chickens before they hatch.
Yeah,
that's the issue with them.
Yeah, so they got game 3 tonight. They're 1-for-1 right now. Darvish went 7 innings in the first game. No earned runs, 9 Ks. Like, he's still good. Profar had a 3-run bomb. Drury hit a bomb. Machado hit a bomb. It was just a home run derby for him. And then game 2, the Dodgers went off, like, completely flipped it. Turner hit a home run. Freeman went 3 for 3. I think he now becomes the MLB hit leader, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does. And then Mookie triples and homers. Machado homered again, but they end up losing 12-1. So, dude, I like the Padres. Like, I feel like they make all the right moves. Like, if you look at the moves they made, like Soto, Hader, and Drury, like, those are good moves, but they're just not putting it together yet. So
Hader's been terrible. I don't know why he's been so bad. He still has the same stuff. He's got the 100-mile-an-hour fastball from the left-hand side, but I don't know if it's a mental block thing or something right now, but there's just been something about the Padres all year and maybe even last year where we hyped this team up so much, and it's kind of got the Blue Jays thing to it where we're giving these guys the crown before they earn it. I love the Padres. I think they're an incredibly talented team. I think that their offense, especially when Tatis comes back and if he's a shell of what he is, I think they're still going to be one of the best offenses in the league. But, I mean, Soto, he gets on base, but offensive-wise, he has not been that amazing this year. He hasn't been like that Hall of Fame bat this year. I mean, he's batting 250.
I think people just don't want to pitch to him, to be honest.
They don't. They walk him a lot. But, I mean, he's hitting 250 still. When they do pitch to him, it's not like he's Barry Bonds in and out there, 330, 75 bombs. I love Soto. I think he's an amazing player. He's got the best eye I've ever seen at the plate ever. But
definitely.
It's a team right now that, Machado is great. Drury's been really, really awesome. But
I like Drury a lot.
The team isn't, they're not a World Series contender for me right now.
No, I agree. The Dodgers definitely are. Even though they lost Buehler, like, I still think they have a shot. Like, I think, like, Trinan came back, Dustin May's back. So you got to hope that they can. Like, their pitching is just, they're injured,
Yeah.
But dude, they just have such a good team.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. So anyway, we'll move on to the rookies and then I will close it out. Huh?
Cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Just real quick on the Dodgers before we close out real quick. As far as Mookie goes, to me, and we're talking about MVPs a lot, and we'll get into it next week, but you've got Arenado, you've got Goldschmidt, and you've probably got Riley in your top 3, but do you have Mookie right outside looking in, or how do you have him? I mean, he's having an incredible year.
I think he's top 5 for sure. I'd have to look at it, but yeah, he's definitely in there.
Yeah. He's having his most home runs he's ever had. He's hitting.
Yeah, defense is great.
He plays the best defense in the league.
Yeah, can't beat him.
Mookie's amazing.
Great move by them.
Okay.
Real quick, we'll just move on to the rookies that I noticed. I'm sure there was more, so if I missed them, I'm sorry. But for the Oakland A's, Waldichuk made his debut, 4.2 innings, 1 earned run, 6 Ks. He looked good. Hopefully he can be something for them in the future. He was like the Yankees prospect that was traded from Montas, so we'll see. Yep. Your guy, Gunnar Henderson, comes up.
Boy.
Dude, he's playing good defense. He's playing good offense. Like, you got to like that for them. Spencer Steer comes up for the Reds. I know the Reds really aren't exciting, but he has a multi-hit game and a home run. So good for him. And then actually your guy again, Tristan Cassis for the Red Sox comes up, gets his first hit today. It was an infield single, so good for him. You guys have always been lacking at first base, so it's nice to see them bring somebody up that can maybe do something with that. So
we're going to need it.
Yeah. And then last but not least, my guy Oswald Peraza comes up for the Yankees. Hasn't gotten a hit so far. Defense looks good. But I'm excited to see him. I hope they keep him around. And now with Benny going on the IL, there's really no reason to send him down. So we'll kind of see what happens with that. But
who's your rookie of the years? Who are your rookie of the years this year, Joey?
I got to look at who's eligible. I really like Morel from the Cubs. I like Gavin Lux. Julio, obviously.
Yeah.
So there's a lot with that.
Yeah, for me, I got 2 clear cuts. In the AL, it's got to be Julio.
Yeah, you can't.
I don't even think it's close. Julio's for sure the AL MVP, or not MVP. My apologies. Rookie of the year.
Yeah.
And the NL for me, it's got to be Spencer Strider.
Yeah, Strider's
he's been so good.
So good. Yeah.
So
I mean, he's been good like pretty much every start minus 1. I think it was against the Mets. So
right. Yeah. There haven't been a lot of big impact rookies this year, but I mean, those 2 have definitely been that.
Yeah. I mean, look at what they're doing for their team. I mean,
yeah.
And then Julio got the contract, so good on that. Good on him.
Yeah, good on him. Yeah, the incentives can go up to something like $400 million.
Yeah, something crazy like that. Which good for him. Dude.
I'd be interested to see more deals if they're going to come out like that, where it's more incentive based as opposed to we're just going to pay you out. I like to see those contracts where guys can earn big money as opposed to I just want $500 million and you're just going to pay it to me.
Right. Exactly.
I'm going to pull the pool host where I'm going to, fall off, or the Josh Hamilton where, the Angels gave all that money out that offseason. And
then you cut him.
And then then you cut him.
Cano.
So.
I mean, but what's cool about that is like, he'll be young enough when it's over to maybe get a second deal. So we'll see. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Anyway, got anything else?
No, I think that's it. I'm excited to see how next week goes. I mean, the baseball races are heating up right now. As we said, the AL Central is super hot right now. We'll see what happens with the East. I don't see the Yankees falling off, but I think Joey's sweating a little bit on that.
I'm sweating.
We'll just have to see, but we'll keep the podcast coming until the October. So
with that being said, next week we'll be doing a lot of MVP talk. Harrison will be back, so good to have him.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we're on Twitter. We're going to be on Instagram. We're on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. Just please follow, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Leave us a rating and review. We'd really appreciate it. And thanks for listening.
Cool. Thanks, guys.